There's a new lifestyle sim farming RPG, kind of like Rune Factory, Stardew Valley-ish, but this one's by Square, the people behind Final Fantasy, and it's a Nintendo Switch exclusive, and we got some new details about this game. The first thing I gotta say is the movement looks very fluid, which is really important in a game like this. I was playing Katari Fables last night, and what's sometimes hard with these farming games is it was kind of hard to figure out which square I was on. I wanted to water one of my plants, but I kept clicking on the other plant, and it's kind of hard to know where you're putting these seeds. But this game, it looks like you can just pretty much freely walk around, and you've got this big square letting you know where you're watering and where the seeds are going. So it already impresses me right there. The names of these seeds are pretty interesting, pretty creative, and look at that water wand. That's awesome. A new take on the typical water bucket that we see, and I like that they're putting some fantasy, some creativity behind this. And I gotta say, the character looks really cool, very Final Fantasy style. I also like the artwork of all the items. It just looks really cool. Even the UI, you know, maybe I'm just getting overly excited for things with this game, but I think the UI looks very, very clean. It looks very pleasing. Everything looks like it's organized very well. I don't see a lot of lag with the menus either, which is always nice. I even noticed artwork for your character, so if you're looking for character customization here, I would think it's not looking too promising. Of course, we'll know more when the actual game comes out, but considering there's an actual sprite for your character, it's not looking likely. The inside of your house looks nice and cozy. I like that it's very spacious, lots of room, so I wonder if you're going to be able to add more furniture or some other kind of customizations. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do in this house other than crafting and sleeping. It looks like time is going to play a very important role in this game. It seems like everything you do takes up a certain amount of time, so they're definitely looking for some type of risk and reward situation there. I'm not sure exactly what the risk is going to be. I know there are 5 seasons in this game, right? So you've got spring, summer, fall, winter, and quietus, which is like this special type of season that has to do with death and decay, which sounds like winter to me. I don't know. We'll see more about that when the game comes out. Now, in classic RPG fashion, you've got an overworld where, you know, the town looks smaller, and another cool, interesting thing here is that time does go by faster when you're in the overworld trying to decide where to go. So again, it's going to be very important to make these decisions quickly. Don't dilly-dally, know where you're going and what you're doing. And if you think about it, that kind of makes sense, right? Because you're zoomed out. Realistically, it would take longer to go from point A to point B when you're covering that actual amount of distance. When you're out exploring the world, the visuals look really nice. Now, they do look a little bit blurry. Now, keep in mind, this was a live stream from the Nintendo Treehouse, so you're going to get a little bit of compression there. I'm not sure exactly what the game's going to look like in the end, but we know the design is really nice. And they actually said, speaking of seasons, the visuals are going to change depending on what season you're in. So I'm really interested to see how that affects other parts of the gameplay. Are the items going to be different that you find? Are the enemies going to be different? What all is going to be different? But I like that attention to detail they're giving it, and it gives me confidence in the game. And it shows me that there's some passion behind this, there's some thoughtfulness, and it's not just some random ideas thrown together. It looks like there's a lot of enemies in this game, and what I like about this is there's actually a leveling up system, and you can see above the enemy's head what level they are, and that just makes me really excited. That whole RPG element that you know there's going to be a stronger enemy around the corner, and also it makes your battles a little bit more meaningful, right? Like, you're not just running past them real quick because they're annoying. I mean, that might be the case, I don't know, but at least you'll be rewarded with loot and XP just for fighting enemies. I think that's really cool, and I also think the chests are really cool. It looks like you'll be finding chests like just all over the place, and also items just laying around on the ground. You'll be picking up seeds that you can plant back at the farm, and you'll be picking up various items and resources that you can use for crafting, and who knows what else. Aside from having a health meter and a stamina meter, you're also going to have hunger in this game, which is going to be pretty important because you're going to want to eat to keep your stamina up. Otherwise, I believe they're saying that the stamina it won't stay regenerating. So that's more motivation to keep things on pace and to keep getting the ingredients so you can keep going back home and cooking. They did show our character eating some sandwiches on the go out in the field, so I think that's really cool, again, with that awesome looking art style. One thing to note, it seems like there's a lot of dialogue in this game. Even in the presentation, it seemed like they were skipping just past loads and loads of dialogue. Even when you're not talking to a person, which I thought was kind of cool. It looks like there's a little bit of narration here, almost like Dungeons and Dragons, where they're kind of walking you through, oh, you see this mushroom, you want to taste it, do you want to try it? And then it seems to kind of tell a story of what happens when you see an item or you see a waterfall and you decide if you want to rest there. They really try to keep a story going. In the gameplay they showed, it looks like you've got a partner, which, yeah, I'm sure is just part of the tutorial, but this also seems like confirmation that we'll get companions in this game. Knowing this is getting put out by Square, I really wouldn't be surprised. It looks like these exploration areas are basically a big dungeon, and they show a few times there are some broken traversal items like a ladder and a bridge that you'll want to repair using these items called repair kits. These dungeon areas will definitely take longer than a day to complete, so these shortcuts are really important that you do invest the time in fixing these things so that next time you go to the dungeon, you can progress farther. The combat here, I'm still not so sure about it. I'm glad they went with action RPG instead of turn-based battles. I don't really have anything against turn-based battles, but in this type of game, this is actually the style that I prefer. I just didn't see any dodging here. I didn't really see any strategy, and I also didn't really see that many interesting attacks coming from the enemies. You know, in a game like this, they really have to balance between casual players and RPG lovers, so it must be really hard kind of trying to find that balance with the combat, keeping it fun, keeping it engaging. Now, being Square, they're definitely going in on the RPG side of things. They also show that there will be job classes in this game, which is something that we've seen in Bravely Default and other JRPGs, which honestly kind of goes over my head. It's a little intimidating, something that I've never really got before, but hey, the one they showed in the demo is actually Mage, so that's really cool. We know there's gonna be some magic in this game. I think that's always a fun element. And hey, maybe farming in a game like this is what I need to be that segue to get me into that kind of thing and to understand more about class systems in RPGs like this. There's also fishing in Harvestella. They showed a little bit of that, and it does burn up a little bit of time in the game, so that's something to consider whenever you do stop to get some fish. And again, the art in this game looks really cool. They showed a picture of a salmon there on the screen with a little bit of lore. I'm digging these vibes. There is confirmed crafting in the game, and one of these items you can craft is called a return bell that will actually warp you at any point back to your house. Now, again, this is a consumable, so you're gonna have to choose to use it wisely. They also showed that there will be checkpoints when you're out in the world, and these will be used as save points, and you can also use these to teleport back home, I believe. Now, back at the farm, you get an inventory box where you can store your things, and then you also have a shipment box, kind of like Rune Factory, Stardew Valley, probably Harvest Moon. I've never played it, but you get this box where you can just put items in there that you want to sell, and it looks like there's just going to be all types of items you can collect and get in this game, which I think is just really exciting. Again, the artwork looks really awesome, and I just love collecting things and having stuff. Let me know in the comments below if you're like that too, or maybe I'm just weird. I don't know. When I play games, I want to collect all the things. When you go to sleep, you can level up kind of like Stardew Valley, depending on what you've done that day. So you can increase your HP, your physical attack power, your magical attack power, your defenses, adding to the progression of your character and the game. I really love that aspect in games, and it keeps me wanting to play, it keeps me hooked in, and it just makes me feel rewarded for what I'm doing. If they do this game right, I think this is going to be hard to put down. The village in Harvestella looks pretty cool too. There are places to fish, a place to upgrade your house, to upgrade your farm. Of course, there's a smithy and a general store. At the shop, there's a lot of different things you can buy, and I like the names of these seeds and these plant items here. It kind of adds a little bit of creativity to it. There's also a backpack you can buy that can increase your inventory, which is always exciting for me as well. And we see some equipment here at the store. We've got a simple fireproof ring and then a simple defense ring. So going into these RPG kind of Skyrim feeling vibes here, allowing you to customize your character, what you're wearing, what you're carrying, you know, adding some fire resistance, who knows what else. Overall though, I like what I see and I'm optimistic. Let me know what you think about this game in the comments below. Do you like these gameplay elements? Do you wish there was less RPG? Do you wish there was more RPG? Let me know in the comments below. It's really cool to me to see Square jumping on the bandwagon. If you like Nintendo Switch, consider hitting hitting that subscribe button. And if you want to see more videos, just tap one of those boxes on your screen, and I'll see you over there.